Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, are we live already? Yes, we are live. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first live session for this Jan to April, let's call it semester 2023. So very happy to be here with you guys. And we would take this opportunity to welcome you all to the course asynchronously. We've already welcomed you asynchronously via videos. This is the first session. Very excited to be here with all of you. So this is going to be, of course, we want it to be as interactive as we can because this is our synchronous meeting. So if at all any of us in this Zoom meeting, you have any questions, any clarifications, thoughts, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions. We'll be happy to entertain you. For people who are watching this as a recording on YouTube, you can, of course, go to our discussion forums and rest assured, depending on all three of our availabilities, we will have them answered. Give us a few days and we should get back to you with answers. If you're not satisfied with the answer that we gave or attempt to answer that we gave, please do follow up with another question. We love to be on our toes when you ask those questions. It makes us think, and that means we'll know what is working with you and what needs to be improved in the course. So without further ado, I'll pass it on to the Master of Ceremony, Shyam. Over to you.
Yeah. Welcome all. So we'll just begin with a short introduction about professor and the teaching assistant. Let me share my screen. So Professor Bala Ramadurai is currently an international visiting professor at the Universidad Panamericana, Mexico. I hope I am pronouncing that right. He also has various other feathers in his cap, like an author, coach, and a consultant. He has authored a book titled Karmic Design Thinking, and we'll be sharing the link of that book also with you. He has 3 patents to its credits, and he's a PhD from Arizona State University, USA, and a BTech from IIT Madras. Apart from that, he is also a guest faculty at the IIT Madras BS degree program that was launched in the year 2020. It's a 12-week course. It's in the so if any learners are interested, you can definitely take up this course. So I am Shyam, teaching assistant course as well as course instructor in the BS degree program. With me is Sukrat. He is a real MBA in our midst, expert in marketing and design thinking. This is a book that professor has authored. The link is displayed here. I'll also be sharing the link with you in the chat here. Okay. And the LinkedIn profile of professor, course instructors, and the link to that new course is all shared here. Over to you, Professor.
Okay, so I couldn't see the link in the chat. Did you post it as a direct message or something? Or did you put it on the YouTube? Oh, there it is. Okay, got it. Now I can see. Yeah, maybe there's a lag in that. All right. So this session is about answering or attempting to answer your questions to the best of our abilities. So we will do that. And the way we're going to do it is through these slides that you see. We will paste the question and we will attempt to answer them. And you can, of course, also use the chat to post your question or unmute yourself and ask your question, and we'll be happy to answer them. Okay, so Shyam, do you want to go to the first one?
Yes. So here is the first question by Angel Mary. Is there any proper guide or note study for this exam?
All right. So exam straight away. Okay, I can see where you're going with this. So before we get on to the actual answer to that question, I would say we we have a dedicated session for your exams. Okay, that's going to be, I think, a week or 10 days before the exam. We have a dedicated live session addressing only the exam. Okay, the exam, what is the format, what should you be preparing, 10 or 12 days before the exam. We will equip you with that. You don't have to worry about the exams at all. Okay. I mean, you have to worry about the exams in the sense that you have to read for it, you have to watch the videos, read the transcripts and all that. But all those guidelines will give you just in that last session. Okay. So that's the first part of it. Second part of it is the course and the content and how to absorb the material, internalize the content concepts so that you can apply it. Uh, the best way, best guide is your own experience. Okay. So how do you, but I am so new to this field. How do I build this experience? Okay. So start with something that is, you find that you want to influence anybody around yourself. You see that somebody needs help. You can clearly see that they themselves don't know. And you feel for them, they're saying that, oh, I wish I could do something to help them out. That's your starting point. Okay, start there and apply the principles of empathize, analyze, solve, and test on this particular case that you're working on. Okay, so follow it one by one. All the videos, just how Siddharth, Nitin, and co have applied it, applied in a very, very similar fashion. And preferably with the team, it's a lot of fun interacting with other people, getting to know their perspectives and how do you interact with users and all that via your team is the one of the best ways we have found to internalize the learning. Okay, that's one. Second is that if you're unclear, okay, the course gives you concepts, but I'm not sure on the field, how do I do it? Watch only the videos that Siddharth and Nitin are doing. How are they taking those concepts and applying it? Watch them, mimic them absolutely word by word, mimic them however, if they put a post-it, think about, okay, in my case, what should that post-it contain? They've done a PowerPoint presentation. What does the PowerPoint say? In my case, should it contain? Okay, shadow them as if they are right in front of you and you're watching them. This was the intention of recording those workshop videos so that you can learn from mimicking them, mimicking what they are doing. And it was held under my supervision. So rest assured, that's how we do it in any other cases also. So these are great ways to learn and internalize design thinking, the concepts of design thinking. And then once you have one case, when you do the second case, you'll be a lot more confident. You will know, it's like any other skill, right? So when you are learning bicycling or driving a car, initially you were like, oh, where are the controls? How do I do this? But once you started doing it, second time you were chatting with your friend or listening to music, you didn't even pay attention to how you're driving. Similar case with design. You will not even realize you're empathizing, you're analyzing, you're solving, you're prototyping or testing. You won't even realize in which step you are, you will be naturally doing them. So the more projects you do, the more familiar you become with the concepts and the more natural it becomes for you. So that's my trial to give you what is the guide for this course. The exam is for the last session. We have an entire live session dedicated to that. Hopefully that was satisfying as an answer for you. If it is, that's great. If not, use the discussion forum.
All right. Thank you for that detailed reply, Professor. Here is the second question from M. Arvind Kumar. How design thinking course is useful? How can we get previous year assignment questions and answers? All are focusing directly on the examination
Very
part.
good.
Right?
We know what the customer wants now. What our users want. Yes, Sham, absolutely. So the first one is a little involved. The question answer to that is, how is this course useful? So design thinking has its core in helping human beings. Okay, so that's human-centered design is the main focus of this course. So Design thinking is going to be, no matter what you do, whether it's a product, it's a service, you're working in an organization, you're a student, you've retired, you want to augment your knowledge, whatever be your scenario, this course will help you understand how to go about improving another human being's life. Okay, so in all our life we have some problem or the other. It doesn't matter if you're wealthy, if you're accomplished, if you're just starting out, doesn't matter. There are some issues that we can help them out with. Okay, so this course is about that concept of how to make that person's life better. Okay, and it's a sort of a process. It starts with understanding who is this human being I'm trying to help, and that's what empathize is all about. Who is this person? What is their story? Okay, if you can answer these two, then we have that part empathize done. Once empathize is done, you get into, okay, now I know the story, I know where they struggle, but is that really where they're going wrong, or is there something else to it? Is there a deeper end to the story? So then you become curious and you do analysis. You find out through the tools that we talk about in analysis in week 2. After that, you generate ideas, use your own creativity, use your teammates' creativity, or use the triggers that you will see in week 3 videos. You can use them and generate a lot of insightful ideas. Okay. After that, it's about time to put all this into practice. So you thought of ideas, but how do I make it? You thought of, oh, I'm going to use AI to help out. But how can I use AI? I need a little small this prototype, what we call a prototype, put something together and see how to and test it with your user that you started out with and see if that actually improves their life. Or is it something only that you were seeing and the customer didn't really benefit out of it? So if you use these, you will internalize the concept of design thinking itself. Okay, that's one way in which you will find this course useful. It could be, if you're a student, it could be some classmate of yours, or a teacher, or a professor that you have, yeah, or somebody that you see in your college, some staff that you want to help out. It could be anybody. You will make their life better. So that's one way you can find. Or let's say if you are a professor, you want to make your student lives better. This course can be useful also. The learnings in this course can be applied. If you're a person in an organization, is there anybody around you that you can influence and make their life better? Again, this course can be handy for that. Okay. Now, useful. If if I really go into the core of it, will it fetch me a job? Is another frequently asked question. Of course, it will make your job or job finding easier, because when you're writing a letter to your potential employer, you're thinking about, okay, what does this person really want from an employee? So when you see an ad for a job, you can actually think about, okay, this person has said this, but what do they really mean by teamwork? How can I demonstrate to them that I have really worked in a team and have made a difference? You can start thinking from their point of view, not from your point of view, right? From their point of view, saying, that project involved 5 people and I worked very well. We got a teamwork award. Maybe that's what I should highlight here. Okay, there you go. So you can find that this kind of thinking, when you apply it, applies to every walk of life, everything at all. So it's extremely exciting when you think about it, that it can actually apply to any field, any domain, any job you have, any in state you are in. You can actually use this very, very well. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part, again, I'm going to tell you that your internet is your best friend. We have all the assignments with the questions and answers of, I think, starting 2018. You will find it on the NPTEL website. Okay, so just so use your best friend, I don't know, your search engine to look for assignments from previous year. You will find them all. We have not put them behind a wall or any such thing. It's open to everybody to look at assignments and learn from them. So it actually puts us, Sham, Sukrat, and I on our toes, because we have to generate new assignments every semester. So we try to keep it fresh, keep it useful, and very similar to the previous one. So you can definitely take a look at all of them. Sham has an exciting job because of this very reason. But everything is public.
So it's more work for me and Sukrat. Anyway, we will be using your Karmic Design Thinking book to frame questions. It
Yes.
has extra content apart from those that is covered in the videos, and we'll definitely frame questions from those for the exam. And
Yeah.
this question is
Sham, sorry to interrupt you.
yeah, yeah.
So that was not a threat, but more about the fact that design thinking is more than the videos that you see, which cannot be documented in videos alone, which is why I've included that in the book. And Sham and Sukrat felt that it is important to also bring that up. So our recommendation is you grab a copy of the book, you read it, and you will find it very useful as a field guide as well as to learn about design thinking in totality. And that's why we also include that in the assignments as a source of questions. Yeah, sorry, Shyam, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. And I also hope you have answered this question while answering the previous question. This is by Rohit Markan. He asked how design thinking will help in removing skill gap in graduates for employability.
Brilliant. Okay. So I think there are two aspects to this. One aspect I already talked about in the previous question, which is, let's say an employer posts a requirement, okay, of this is the kind of person I would like to have in my team, in my company. Okay. You look at those requirements. That is what that person wants. But it's up to you to put yourself in their shoes and figure out, okay, they're asking for 7 years of experience. I only have two. Okay. Now, what will really fill that gap for them? So, why are they asking for 7 years experience? Why are they asking for a certain education requirement? Why are they asking for a certain skill requirement? So you can put yourself in those shoes and then think about, okay, this, and this I have done. That should actually be very, very good for putting yourself and thinking about from their perspective. So this is even before you're, before even starting to apply. Okay, then you can have your resume or your CV address this job requirement that they have put down. Okay, not from your perspective. Think about it. So apply design thinking here. So think about it from the employer's perspective, the company's perspective. Okay, if you can give them and convince them that yes, I have what you are looking for in your company. I've seen your company's profile. I have know their products. I know their services, and I can really, really be the one who will actually be very, very useful in taking your company to the next level. You will get 5 calls immediately, okay, because you have really thought about all the employers there. And see, you're not lying here, okay, you're just thinking about what is it that I have that they will need. Okay, so it is sort of a merger of these, right? So you're thinking from their perspective and what is it that I can offer. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is many companies, I think I can safely say only a few companies don't insist these days, but most companies demand that you have design thinking experience as part of your CV itself. So the subject itself. Okay. So if design thinking, if you've done a project, okay, we're going to announce soon a workshop. You can even use that as an experience. You can put that in your CV and say that I have done a project on design thinking where I not only thought about my own requirements, but a customer's requirement. I know how to put myself in a customer's shoes and learn about what is it that I can do to make their life better. And this is how I made their life better. You're not just talking theoretical here. You can actually do it and show that I am influenced their life in a positive way via my project. Okay. When you do this, this can be a very, very good eye catcher. It catches their eye rather. It's a great incentive for your potential employer to look and say, look, this person not only has learned this course, has participated in a course, but actually done something to make somebody else's life better. I want this person. Okay, so this is a gap that a lot of industries, a lot of companies are looking for. Gone are the days when they said, "Oh, it'll be nice if they have design thinking." They are demanding for design thinking. I work with many colleges and universities all across the world, and I know that design thinking is no longer nice to have bullet point in your resume, but a requirement these days. They even put it up in an employer's request. A job description has design thinking and many explicitly mentioned. So a project, when you actually do it, it really goes a long way in making your CV very sharp and eye catch. Okay, so hopefully that is the gap that will fill it up. Design thinking. So in multiple ways, it can help you. Sham, I think Roby has their hand up.
Yes, Roby, please go ahead.
Please go ahead, Roby. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself, I guess. They are allowed to unmute, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there. Okay.
We'll go ahead with the question.
Okay, Roby, whenever you're ready, let us know. We can take your question.
So this question is from Prajit TS, and he is asking whether there will be internship offered for this course.
The answer is a big yes, with font size, I don't know, 72. Yes, of course, we will offer internships. I think the criteria NPTEL has is that you have to qualify as the top, or one of the top, or one of the top few people. So once you qualify in the exams, then we will have your list of names. We'll ask you for your requirement. How long are you available? When can you start and all that. So the criteria being that you have to be one of the top few people. That is one. The second one is that you need to be a student. We offer internships only to students. This is an NPTEL requirement. We want to encourage students taking up internships. So definitely we will do that. That's the second requirement. So you have to be the top. I don't know top how many percentage. Sham or Sukrat can clarify that if you guys know that.
Top 5%, I believe.
Okay.
So top 2%, top 5, that elite plus gold level. So they can definitely apply.
Yes. So if you're one of those, then definitely we will offer you internships for projects. We have some industry people also lined up whom we can collaborate with in case your interest lies in industrial sort of side of things. We can on real problems, we can put you on them, and we can even get you the experience for on an industrial project. So that's how we want this internship to be useful to you as students. So again, with the same intention that it should go as a bullet point in your resume. Okay, as saying that this is an internship I did at NPTEL, and this is the project that we did, and this is how it positively influenced our organization that I interned with. Okay, so yes, the answer is definitely a yes. We will offer internships. Yeah.
Yeah, and Namita Garg has raised her hand. Do you have any questions? You can unmute and ask the professor.
Yeah, sir. So, just for the previous question that you answered, so I'm a professional and I'm working from last 15 years, and I'm loving this course. Really, very nicely it is made, I'll say.
Thank you.
The interest itself is coming up to do the next class. So, sir, the thing is that I would like to do some project going forward, and you just now you mentioned that internship is only for the students.
Yes.
So anything can be done about it so that we also can get into some projects, or we can get into this particular area where we can update ourselves and enhance our skills.
Sure. Thank you for that. Yes, I do understand the very restrictive that we have said only for students. That's a criteria that I don't come up with. It is NPTEL has said that if you're going to offer internship via NPTEL, it has to be for students. Okay. Having said that, we do not restrict anybody from participating in projects. Particularly if you're interested, please do write to one of us or all of us to so that we can, if you have any project ideas and you want to, even before that, like I said, we're going to have a workshop in April. Okay, the date is going to be in April, and there we would like your project ideas to be submitted. So in week 4, at the end of week 4, we will ask for your project ideas, and you can submit that during that, Namita, and that can be your, where you can participate. You can get other team members to participate in your project, and you can take it forward, and with our guidance. So Sukrat, Sham, and I will be there as part of that workshop. And it's open to all the alumni of this course, as well as people who are participating in this particular, registered for this course. If you're registered for this course, you are open to that workshop. All you have to do is submit that. This will be at the end of week 4, where we will give you a link.
Sure, sir.
Did I answer your question, Namita?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. So thank you for your interest, and we will just look at our week 4 videos and submit your ideas there.
All right. There were some questions from the YouTube live stream chat window, and Sukrat has copy and pasted it here. Sukrat, would you like to take up those questions now?
Sure. So I'll just read it out. So Manish from YouTube has asked that, as per my limited understanding, we have some learned people mentioning that we have 5 or 6 steps involved in design thinking: test as well as test and improve. Is this a correct process, or only 4 steps mentioned in the course are correct? So, sir, I believe this is the classic thing mentioning whether how many steps we should consider in design thinking. It often comes up because on internet people see all those ideate and prototype, and we have EAST limiting it to that acronym. So, would you like to answer this question?
Yes, that's correct. This is let's say an FAQ. For FAQs, I actually have a blog series called Ask the Design Thinking Doc. Okay, I'm going to paste the URL here. Sukrat, I request you to paste the same thing in the YouTube chat as well. So this is a series of blog posts that I've written based on all your questions from the past, 4 years. One of them is it a 4-stage or a 5-stage? Is it this or that? A whole bunch of questions have been answered in that. Just go through it and see if this particular question is answered. I think I did answer that question. I'm struggling to see which one is this one particularly. Yeah, anyway, so I can quickly answer that. Is EAST, empathize, analyze, solve, and test is what we use here. Empathize is the same thing as the Stanford method. Analyze is define in the Stanford method. Solve is ideate over there. And here we use test as a combination of prototyping and testing, again with your audience. In the Stanford method, they call it prototype as an independent step, and then there is a test where you actually test whether it works or not with your audience. So it's very similar and identical in many respects, except that there are only 4 stages in our method, and it's in our opinion, it is easier to remember: empathize, analyze, solve, and test, EAST. So it's easier to remember. So that's the why it's there. But you can use the blog for answering other questions also, in case those are your questions that you have.
Thank you, sir. So next question we have for us is design thinking applicable for any field or not applicable to a particular field to utilize it to the maximum extent?
Before that, Sukrat, I think Ashish has their hand up.
Raised a hand, yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Ashish.
Is any program for new entrepreneurs for mentorship, incubation from you?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? It's a little unclear.
Yeah, for any new entrepreneur, is there any guidance is available from you, like mentorship or incubation?
Okay. So for entrepreneurship, okay, let me back up a bit for people who do not. The question is that for entrepreneurship, do I give any specific guidance? That's the question. So entrepreneurship is okay. Let's back up even a bit. Entrepreneurship is starting a venture, a business on your own, and building a product or a service and taking care of your customers. So that's entrepreneurship. That is outside of a company or starting a company, right? Intrapreneurship is a field where you encourage employees to act like entrepreneurs, but within the company. So that's intrapreneurship. The answer to that question is yes, I do help out entrepreneurs as well in guiding them. I help companies with entrepreneurship initiatives in the company. How do I do that? We actually have innovation contests. We have criteria to accept proposals, and then we run the contest. I help them run the contests and then constitute the teams and then coach the teams. And once the ideas, proposals are mature, I interact with the executives of the company and actually realize the entrepreneur's dream come true within the confines of the company, thus helping the company as well. So that's what I offer as a service to companies, particularly. So Ashish, if you're specifically looking for help within your company or organization to foster this, spirit of entrepreneurship in your company, feel free to reach out to me and I can help you with that. We can have a separate conversation around that. For sure, yes, I do help out in short. This is my email address. I have dropped it in the chat.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, please do reach out to me and I can help you with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a question by Mridul on YouTube. It's related to De Bono's 6 thinking hats. Are you familiar with that? So the question is, what seems to be the difference between 5 whys and De Bono's 6 thinking hats?
Okay. Edward De Bono, he was a person who made lateral thinking, the word lateral thinking, very popular. And he is a professor, and as well as he's famous for his method called 6 thinking hats. Okay, very, very interesting method and a simple method. I believe celebrities like Desmond Tutu and Greg Chappell have used 6 thinking hats in their field. So from religion to cricket, this method has been used, and I have myself used it in organizations. So what does 6 thinking hats do? It is to make a process of conducting brainstorming sessions. Okay, in your company, in your organization, if you want to organize, brainstorming seems very random because somebody pastes a problem and you start generating ideas. Doesn't seem like who's writing down all the ideas, when do they have to shout out ideas, what kind of ideas should they shout out, what is the correct way to think about the idea, who's thinking about is that the right problem to solve? We don't know. An answer to that is 6 thinking hats, where there's a facilitator, that's a blue hat, and there's a person who that person says, okay, this is going to be the stages of the brainstorming. So we're already actually making it a process. Then they say, okay, give me only the positives of the problem, red hat. Give me only the negatives of the problem, black hat. Okay, and then so on and so forth, right? So there are lots of colored hats, and I may be getting the color wrong, but this is how 6 thinking hats really works, right? So you have a stage, you have a colored hat for a certain process. Okay, so that's a process driven approach. And your multi-whys or 5 whys can be part of your analysis hat. Okay, I think the yellow hat is the analysis hat. Man, it's been a while. So okay, so one of the hats is an analysis hat. When you are in that process, you can use multi-why as a tool for executing that hat. Okay, so that's how the six thinking hats works. But if you had a problem and you're wondering, is that the real problem to solve, or is there an underlying root cause? Okay, now you can use six thinking hats for this, but that's a long drawn process. Instead, you want answers, quick answers to that. Then multi-why or five whys is the best way to go about it. So think about, why is the customer, switching on the machine before starting to work on something. Okay, you don't know, and you start learning about the answer. Now you learn about something about the customer, you learn about why they do certain things. And then that's not enough. Then you go deeper, and then you go deeper by asking more and more why questions. Okay, so this is about disciplining your thinking in only the analysis and only for root cause analysis. Okay, no other form of analysis happens in five whys. What is called the root cause analysis. If you're doing that in your six thinking hats, yes, then that's part of what it is. So one is a process alone, other is a root cause analysis finding method. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. Hopefully that was useful for you. Okay, if it's not clear, please let us know. As a follow-up question, we'll love to elaborate on this.
Yes,
Also,
yes.
this question from AJ Inevan has not been answered, I think so. So is
Okay.
design
No, it
thinking
hasn't.
applicable for any field, or not applicable to a particular field to utilize it to a maximum extent? I mean, while
Okay.
working on some projects, we were also facing this issue. Can this be applicable across all field or not? Can you throw some light on this?
Okay. So design thinking is a process. Okay. It's a thinking method. It helps you discipline or focus your problem solving process itself. That's all there is to it. Okay. So what it guides you is in your way of thinking. It can help you, steer your thinking in a certain direction. So you first have to know what your customer is going through, empathize. And once you know that, you figure out what is the core root cause of the problem. What is it that I can offer as a customer, or what does the customer want, and what as a service provider can I offer? Is it at conflict? That's all of this is under analysis. Then you generate ideas, that's under solve. And finally, you make a prototype of it and go and test it with your audience. That's test. Okay. So this thinking method can actually be applied all across the world, all across domains. And as Professor John Arnold demonstrates, it can also be applied to Methanians, some fictional aliens, right? So basically, it can be applied to any field, any nationality, any geography, any region, doesn't matter. This is a thinking method to help you structure your thinking so that you get you are pointed towards the right solutions. Okay, so that's what design thinking essentially is. Now, actually, the right question for you should be, when you're starting out on a design thinking project, is not whether it's applicable to my field or not, but is it worth my time? Is the problem that I'm working with, is it worth the time that I'm going to put in, right? Because design thinking is going to take a lot of time, resources, maybe money, all that from you. Is it worth that time, resources, money for solving that problem? If you're inside an organization, you will have to answer to your boss saying that I'm going to spend X hours on this project because I think that if I solve this, this is going to be very well worth in the long run. So you have to be ready with such answers. So the question is more about, do I have enough time, resources to dedicate to executing a design thinking project for a particular customer or a client or a user, than asking whether it works for my field or not. Okay, it has been proven beyond doubt that this one works for all sorts of domains. You just go online, put in your field, be it mechanical engineering, I don't know, patient, human resources, marketing, doesn't matter. So many of my students are in various legal field, law field, all those people. You just put in there and add the word design thinking case study. You will find a case study where people have applied design thinking to your field, and you will learn from that. That's the easiest way. One of the easiest way to find out how is it that people in my field have applied design thinking and how have they made a difference. And then you can use that method and learn from that and apply it to a problem that you care about. Okay, so that's essentially what my response to that is.
Thank you, sir. And Ashish, do you have any other question you have raised?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I have two questions.
Hmm.
One is, what is the procedure or better method to find USP in a particular product or services? And what is the procedure or method to find out USP in particular services, in product or services?
USP, did you say USP?
Yes, sir.
Unique selling proposition. Okay. So what is the process or method to find the unique selling proposition of your particular product or service?
Yes.
Okay. That's we have a simple test. Okay. Now, if the product or service is removed from the market, if the customer doesn't have access to that product or service, what are they missing out on? How will their life be incomplete? What will suffer in your customer's life? That is your unique selling proposition. So remove the product. Let's say I have a let me take some product here. Okay, I have many of you will recognize this. This is a dongle,
Yeah.
Geo dongle. Okay, so if this is not there in my life, what am I missing? That's the unique selling proposition. It's portable. It carries internet. It can make a hotspot wherever it is. All those things that I miss out on, that's what this can provide. Okay, it's lightweight. It fits into my pocket. Okay, so those are all the unique selling propositions of your. So you'll have a list of features. So that's what this can provide. If you remove it, then you realize, oh man, I'm stuck here. I don't know how to create a hotspot. I don't know, I have to carry my big modem with me every time I go. All that starts becoming a big problem for you. Okay, so that's a very, very easy way to find out what is your unique selling proposition or your function, what we call function of your particular product.
That is, it means only missing points. USP means it's only missing points.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
another question.
Also, sorry, Ashish, one more. This I used a product, but this can also be for a service. Okay, suppose you're providing a service, let's say teaching, or you're providing health clinical services. If I remove that from the patient or from the student, how will their life be affected? So ask the same exact. It works for a product as well as a service. Many people think design thinking is only for products or is only for services. It actually applies for both. Okay. Yes. Go ahead. Ashish.
Yeah. Another question is this course is only available only in online format or offline also?
Okay, great question. This is naturally leading us to campaign about the workshop that we're going to have. So in April, we're going to have a physical workshop. Okay, that is being planned, but it will be in hybrid mode. So we will have a physical workshop for alumni of this course, as well as people like yourselves who have registered for the course and are interested in applying it in the real world. So we request you to submit your proposals by week 4, and you will have a chance to participate in the workshop. We are planning to have this workshop in IIT Madras for sure, in person, 100 depending on how many people sign up. And I'm based out of Pune, so if there is enough interest here, and Sukrat and Sham love to come to Pune, so we will have another workshop, physical workshop in Pune as well, if there is enough interest again, okay, from all of you. Now, other locations apart from apart from Pune and IIT Madras, if you want us, you will have to let's say raise in a uni voice with lots of your friends or colleagues and demand it from NPTEL. We'll be happy to come to your city or location and have a physical workshop. Now that we have opened up and we can move across, we will certainly be very, very happy to come to your city or location and conduct a physical workshop, provided the numbers are there. That's the only criteria we have.
What number do you want?
Ashish is like, okay, give me the number. I'm going to get them now. Sukrat, Sham, what is our prescribed number of people, the minimum number that we can have for a workshop?
More the merrier, it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
More the merrier. Okay. So bring as many as you can, Ashish, and we'll be very, very happy to come to your place. Where are you based out of, Ashish?
I'm from Pune only.
At Pune, okay,
Yes,
great. So we can certainly have that. There's also a request from Bhubaneswar. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, why not? Yeah, just let us know. The more the merrier, as Sukrat says. We would like to meet you in person and actually have this workshop. This workshop makes a lot of sense when you actually go out there, and we'll guide you how to do this empathy interviews, and then come back with your results and present it to us, and we'll help you refine your ideas. And in fact, one of them at least is close to becoming a startup, and many of them are thinking about making it a company even. So let's hope that happens. So we are hopeful that all of you will be enthusiastic and interested in having physical workshops. At least in IIT Madras, I have a 100% confident it will happen. The numbers will be there. For Pune, many of you come, we will definitely have that here also. Other cities, we will definitely need a like a vote bank. We'll need participant bank to have you there.
Sir, my request is, can you share your mobile number also?
Oh, I'm so bad at answering my mobile phone. Sukrat and Sham know this. Best is email address or LinkedIn. These are two places where I'm more active than my mobile phone. Please use my email address, and then we will keep in touch.
Okay.
Yeah, Sukrat and Sham have tried hard to convert me into being answerable on the mobile quickly. They have not succeeded so far. So it's better. Email address works best for me.
Okay. Fine.
Tushar has raised his hand.
Yeah, Tushar, please go ahead and unmute and you can ask the question.
Sir, I'm Tushar. I'm a Indian Army officer. And firstly, my absolute gratitude for you conducting this course in the manner in which it is being done. I have a few doubts. One is a more strategic doubt, and two, please excuse my limited knowledge in this subject. So there are very basic doubts regarding a few topics within the curriculum. From the strategic point of view, sir, I have the doubt being, does design thinking go against disruptive innovation? And I take this the line of thought from Professor Clayton Christensen's discourse on disruptive innovation, where he does mention that we must be cautious against listening to customers too intently, because customers do not want disruptions, they prefer incremental improvements.
Yes.
So if we go, and if our first stage is empathize, then does this mean that there is a minimal or zero overlap between disruptive innovation and design thinking? Would that be a correct statement to make?
Okay, great question. First of all, thank you so much for your kind words about the course, and very happy that and there are no basic doubts. There are no let's say beginner doubts or questions. All questions are welcome. We don't differentiate between the quality of questions or anything. Any question, we are happy to answer them. be it your exams, you're our customers. It's our duty, number one duty to make sure that your experience is as enriching as it can be. Okay. So coming to your question, very, very interesting one. Yes, disruptive innovation will not happen if you only listen to your customers. Okay. Now, and the premise in that being that customers do not know what they really want. So listening to them is about them being very cautious because they'll say, this one is attributed to Henry Ford, right? If I had asked my customers, they would have said faster horses. So there's actually no point asking customers what do they really want from this product or service. That's the essence. And we strongly believe in that also. In design thinking, we definitely make sure that that happens, that you don't ask customers what they really want. So that's the premise Professor Christensen also is talking about. Now, then what do we do in Empathize then? We keep our eyes and ears and heart open to what the customer is going through. Okay. Please listen to my words carefully. What they are going through. Okay. Not what they are telling us what they're going through. So this is key because those unsaid latent needs is where the pot of gold is. Just call it disruption, call it incremental, but that's where the pot of gold is. And that may be so many layers below what you actually observe even. That's why we have an analyze stage after empathize. So if you only go by what you see or you perceive from the customer, you're going to be stuck in only addressing that surface level problem. In analyze, we go a lot deeper and try to figure out what is it that is really going on with this person's life. How can we really pinpoint saying, okay, this is what is the actual core of the issue here. It is not what we see. It is so it requires a lot of iterations from the empathize and analyze. So the more you do that, the solution and the prototyping you will take care. Okay, because many of us are very good at generating ideas. We are very creative naturally. I mean, some of us will deny, oh, I'm not the creative one. I don't believe that. It's about the trigger. And if the right trigger is there, you will generate quality ideas. And no doubt about that. So, which means you have to spend a lot of time socializing and knowing your customer as well as you can. Okay. And then come back and figure out, is that what they were really saying? I don't think so. The fact that they're doing this action means that they want this. So you will have to analyze it a lot. And the more perspectives you can bring from your team, you are probably you're from the armed forces, so you think a certain way. I am from a, let's say, technology background. I think a certain way. Sukrat loves food. He thinks from a different way. Sham likes processes. He thinks from a different way. We bring all of us together. We are looking at the same customer from various different perspectives, and we get complete, in three-dimensional information on what we can possibly do about the customer, for the customer, which will enhance their life. So in that, there may be disruptive ideas, there may be incremental ideas. We don't really differentiate between that in the solve process. Where the differentiator comes is in when you test it back with your customer. So will say, where was this product all along? Okay, that's what happens when you actually nail it down. So it is, I mean, we do week 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it's only one step 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's like your car engine or your fighter aircraft. There's so many parts inside that it's mind-boggling how it works. Same with design thinking. It's we present it so that it's easily understandable, but when you put it in practice, there's a lot more running behind the scenes. And that comes only with practice. So the more you do this and you realize the nuances of design thinking. We all three of us, in spite of working with so many people, so many students, corporates, we're still unearthing things about design thinking that we had no clue about. So it's the same story when you're working with a service, specific product or service. I hope that came close to answering your question.
In fact, if I can get a clearer understanding, it's like what Apple did with its initial product, wherein everyone wanted open software, but Steve Jobs comes up with closed software. So it is disruptive, but then he still went through the design process to come to that.
Yes.
So
yes.
I guess that would be an apt example of where there is some kind of merge between design thinking and disruptive innovation. I guess that would be one way of looking at it. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tushar. That's a
so
great
now
example.
two more questions. One is, I guess it's just a subset clarification. When we talked about element, name, and value, I understood the value, which is low and high. But does the name come first or do the elements come first? I'm still a little confused about it. Which is a subset of whom?
Okay. Let me use my board so that it's clearer. Let me just, it's probably easier to do that.
Because
give me a second and I'll show you my board. I'm sorry, maybe a minute. It's taking a while. Okay, I got my board. Let me share my board with you. Okay, Zoom had a board. Okay, I didn't notice. Okay, so element. Can you see my board, whiteboard?
Yes, visible.
Okay, element, name, and value. Okay, so for people who are wondering what this is the construct we use for conflict of interest. Conflict of interest is when you figured out the root cause of the problem, and now you're figuring out if there are stakeholders in the problem or service providers or manufacturers, and their interests, there's a conflict of interest, we try to figure out what is the conflict of interest. Okay, so element is the answer to the question, where is the problem or who has the problem? Okay, so in some cases, if you are dealing with, let's say, a piece of product, where will be the question to ask? Okay, or if it is a specific person, a child is the let's say the who has the problem, then that would be the that child would be the element. Okay, so where is the problem or who has the problem will answer the element. Okay, so element is the where or the who. Name is name of the variable. What are you allowed to change in this particular problem? What particular value of a variable? What is the name of the variable that you can change in this particular problem? Is it the height? Is it the color? Is it the weight? Is it the screen size? Is it the number of clicks? The number of hours that you can put in? What is the name of the variable? Oops, sorry. It's not supposed to do that. Name of the variable. Okay, so that's what we look for in name. Now, once you figure out what is it that I can change, what are the values, the extreme values? Okay, so if it is height, it will be tall and short. If it is weight, it will be heavy and light. If it is screen size, it will be large and small. If it is, what else did I use? Number of hours, it will be long number of hours and short number of hours. Okay, so pick extremes because that's very easy for the human mind to figure out what is the problem. Okay, so value, oops, my board is misbehaving. Okay. Okay, so value, and why is this here? Okay, so value of the variable itself. So it comes from this one. So you have picked the variable. You pick what values should it be, high and a low, max and a min. Okay, two extremes, left and a right. Okay, then that will give you an idea. Now look for the consequences of this value. So I have gone heavyweight. Let's say I've gone very high and low. Let me take it that way. Let's say I'm flying a drone, and if I go very high, I get a lot of area in one shot, and I'm taking a picture. A large area is captured. Okay, but if I fly low, the resolution is amazing of the shot. Okay, that's the advantage of going low. But think about it. If I do go low, I have to do a large area. I mean, many sorties to film the entire area for a drone. Okay, but high resolution. If I go high in one shot, I can get the entire zone. However, the resolution will be poor. So this is the conflict. Okay. So where is the problem? The drone, name of the variable, the height. Okay. Value is high and a low. High altitude and low altitude. So this is how we think about it and what are the consequences of this. Okay, I hope that answered your question.
Yes, sir.
We are actually just out of time, Tushar. 1 o'clock it is.
I'm done. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much for your questions. I can hang around for a few more minutes if you have a follow-up question. But as far as officially this live session is concerned, we are done. So if you want to drop out, that is totally understandable. So shall we take one more question from Tushar? I think he had a third question also.
So if anyone else, I can, okay. So my third question is very simple, actually. It's just about the 5 whys and reaching a natural limit. Any limit is flexible. It can be extended, can't it? So how do we decide that we've reached a natural limit?
A natural limit, you say?
Yes. So you said in the workshop, we stopped at certain levels because we said we have reached our natural limit. But if we had someone else in that group with a different point of view, then the natural limit would have got extended. So where do we decide this natural limit? Is it possible to really come to an end and say we have reached our natural limit? How do you define that?
Okay, great question also. So in multi-wise, what we do is the number of levels actually tells you how well you know the problem. Okay. In many problems that I am not an expert in, I usually end up just coming up to 2 or 3 steps, and that's it. After that, I don't know the answer. Exactly. Okay. So I stop there. But if I bring in an expert, okay, this is where experts come in really handy. They will give you 5 different reasons for the same question. Exactly. So you can find expert. If you have the expertise in your team, good for you. You can drill deeper and deeper. Okay. Now, when I say natural limits, for example, certain natural limits, like in physics, I know that no particle is allowed to travel beyond the speed of light. Okay. So that's a natural limit. You can't violate that without violating the laws of physics. Okay. So if or a legal limit, for example, you're allowed to travel on a road, let's say a highway at 70 kilometers per hour. That's your limit. That's a legal limit. You can't violate that, right? So I want to go faster, but I can't violate the limit, right? So that's my limit at 70 kilometers per hour. That's a legal limit. Unless you are a local lawmaker, you cannot influence that natural set limit. So that's where it stops. Okay, I can't question that, saying, why is the speed limit at 70 kilometers per hour? Well, that's the law, right? So basically, that's what I meant by natural laws. There are biological laws, there are physics laws, there are chemistry laws, legal, societal laws even, which you cannot transgress. And that's where we stop, saying we can't question that. And that's what I meant by natural laws.
So these are terms of references which we cannot violate, basically.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Understood, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks a lot for all your intriguing questions, Tushar. Thank you so much.
There's one question from Parinita. Parinita, please go ahead and ask the question to the professor.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sir. So I basically come from travel industry. Means I'm currently pursuing my master's in travel and tourism management. So is this course relevant for people like us?
Oh yes, of course. But it depends on if you can get me a good deal on a ticket. No, I'm joking. Okay. So in travel industry, of course, travel industry is heavily human centered. In fact, I will tell you an example also. This company, I don't know if it's still around. It's called Hipmunk. Okay, so you know the word chipmunk, right? This is an animal, chipmunk. Remove the letter C, and you get the name of this company, Hipmunk. Hipmunk had the usual filters. Okay, your layovers in booking tickets, right? Your layovers, your price, number of stops. I mean, you name it. The usual filters that you have. Along with that, it had another filter called agony. Okay, what is agony now? Agony is the sum total of the price you pay for the number of layovers you have and amount of layover you have at an airport. Okay, now that comes from human centric thinking. Okay, now no offense to you or your industry, but when I went to book a ticket for an overseas travel, this person gave me a 35-hour travel itinerary, okay, which had 3 or 4 hops and had long layovers. I said, how am I going to, it's going to make me very, very tired. I have business meetings after this long travel. How am I going to do that? I said, no, sir, this is the cheapest. And just walked off. So then I went to hipmonk.com, looked at this, sorted my itineraries according to agony. Okay, and I found that this person's itinerary was in the bottom of the list because it is most agonizing for the traveler, right? So this kind of thinking is what we are aiming for in design thinking, is to look at it from the traveler's perspective, from the person who's going to go through the experience. Okay, of course, your perspective also has to be considered. You're a service provider. You have to give, get a discount, get a deal, all that. That's what comes in analysis also. So it's definitely, answer is a big yes. It applies to your industry as well.
So thank you so much. Firstly, I was very happy. I didn't had any clue what is design thinking, but when I get into it, I was like, I'm that kind of a person because I'm highly empathetic.
Okay.
That's what
Good
I
for you.
expect. Yeah, because even whatever, even if I'll give a small example, how a product should be. So I'm this kind of a person. I want this. So there should be a kind of a variation because it's same. So what problem you faced, even I faced the same thing.
Sure.
That
Sure.
long travel thing. So I'm liking it for now, but if it get too technical, will I be able to manage it?
No, it's in your own domain. It's as technical as you want it to be. So it's going to be in your domain. We will use your expertise only. So this is as technical as it gets. So whatever you saw in week 2 is the most technical we get.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Parnita. Thank you so much for your question. Okay. So, Sham, Shukrat, shall we call it a day and end the session here?
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you all for participating in the first live session of the Jan 2023 semester. The next live session will be on Feb 17, Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. We hope to see you all there. If you have any questions on week 3 or on week 4,
Sham. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for all your questions. If there are questions that we couldn't take during this session, please feel free to use the discussion forum. We will definitely get back to you. Or failing which, you can also attend the Feb 17th session and ask your questions there via chat or unmute yourself. Thank you so much, folks. See you in the next session. See you in the discussion forums. Okay, bye. Thanks, Sukrat and Sham, for efficiently hosting this as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.